Hi Internet, as always, here's my Matchbox disclaimer. I'm not your attorney unless we have a signed contract and you've paid the applicable fees. Today I want to talk about what happens in a divorce when one of the parties is difficult and purposefully delaying the case. A case that has not settled usually becomes contested because one of the parties is unwilling to compromise. It's been my experience that contested divorces don't really have a both sides type of structure, especially when children are involved. And that's what I want to focus on today. When there's a custody battle, I've consistently found that there's one parent that's willing to compromise to end the case. And then there's the other parent who will pretend to compromise by suggesting settlements that are not in the children's best interest. And most of the time in those cases, the party that's making bad faith settlement proposals has more time and money than the other party, or they have more power. Whether it's delaying psychological testing or inundating the guardian with phone calls, emails, documents, and information, choosing an attorney that will have so many conflicts that the case will be delayed, or doing whatever they can to prolong the process, most of the time these tactics do have the desired result. And the parent making good faith suggestions becomes emotionally exhausted, financially drained, and legally overwhelmed. I really wish that I could say these tactics don't work and that these bad faith actors have consequences in the legal system, but the truth is that isn't the reality, especially post-pandemic. If you're in a circuit where your judge hears criminal and civil matters, ensuring that criminal defendants have their constitutional rights upheld has become a number one priority. Most of the judges that I work with, they'll do everything they can to push the case forward for family law, but they are constrained by time and manpower. This is such a perfect storm for bad faith actors to exploit an already weakened and imbalanced system to gain a greater advantage in custody cases. Over the last few years, I have witnessed so much systemic abuse from towards the primary caregiver and children with little to no consequences from the system. So what's the solution? How do you settle a case with a bad faith actor? I don't have a good answer. The best answer I can give is to make sure you have some type of plan before you end up in litigation with a bad faith actor, and for your expectations to be set in reality and not in pretend la la land. The truth does have a way of coming out, but it can take longer than you'd like. If your case is going through the court system, you have to have a reasonable expectation of the timetable and you have to budget accordingly. I cannot stress the importance enough of having a counselor, mental health professional, coach, or someone who can help with the emotional impact of being in litigation with a bad actor. It's also a good idea to ask your attorney about arbitration, or what we have in Georgia called late case evaluation, to see if there's any leverage that can be gained through an alternative dispute resolution program. My last piece of advice is going to sound so cynical, but I mean this in an empowering type of way. Before you marry someone, do your homework. Talk about finances. Discuss history of mental health. Meet with a pre-marriage counselor, professional, or religious advisor prior to marriage. If your partner has more assets and more income, think about a prenup. It can give you security in the event of a divorce. A lot of people think that prenups are only for the person with money, but it can sometimes be a useful tool for the spouse with less money and less income. It can provide support and a set sum of division of property, which could lessen the ability or reasons for you to be in court. The one thing I've never understood is why people would wait to do a psychological evaluation of each other after they've been married and have kids, but we do blood testing for genetic disorders and relations prior to marriage and children. In a perfect world, each person on this planet would meet a partner that respects and supports them. So look for red flags when you're dating or in a courtship. I've always loved the saying, the devil that we know is better than the devil that we don't. There is no perfect human being on the planet, so making sure you understand the limitations of your partner gives you the ability to set realistic expectations and to make decisions about having children. The more information you have, the better chance you have of creating a long and lasting relationship and marriage. It is a weird world out there, so stay safe.